This is Miss Lauren from the Lawrence Branch, and if you or your kids are fans of the author Raina Telgemeier, I have a great video here for you. So Raina Telgemeier is an author and illustrator. She creates graphic novels. So her first book was Smile, and it's very popular at the library, along with her second book called Sisters. She's also written her newest one, which is called Guts. And she was the first to start adapting the Babysitters Club series, an older series, into graphic novels. I'm a huge fan of her and all of her books. I've read them all multiple times. I love them. And a lot of times at the library, we get questions about, okay, my kid loves Smile, Sisters, drama. What can they read next? So I'm gonna show you a video of some of my favorite graphic novels. There's a lot of different ones. I tried to keep it short, but I have lots of favorites. So I'm gonna share with you some of my favorites and what you can jump to next after finishing the Raina Telgemeier graphic novels. So we're going to start off with the Babysitters Club series, written by Anne M. Martin. Books 1 to 4 were adapted by Raina Telgemeier. Books 5 to 8 were adapted by Gail Galligan. And the newest, book 9, was adapted by Gabriella Epstein. These are great for kids ages 8 to 12 or adults who love the original series like I do. The original series from the 80s is back and better than ever. These books have been adapted and updated, and the illustrations are just wonderful and actually very consistent between illustrators. If you aren't familiar with the original series, these books follow 4 girls who start a babysitting club. In the latest book, Claudia and the New Girl, Claudia has always been the most creative kid in her class. Until Ashley Wyeth comes along. Ashley's really different. She wears hippie clothes and has multiple earrings, and she's the most fantastic artist Claudia has ever met. Ashley says Claudia is a great artist too, but thinks she's wasting her artistic talent with the Babysitters Club. When Claudia starts spending more time with Ashley and missing BSC meetings, it becomes clear that Claudia has to make a decision. One of them has to go. And a spin-off series from the Babysitters Club is The Babysitter's Little Sister, written by Anne M. Martin, illustrated and adapted by Katie Farina. Good for ages 7 to 10. This series follows babysitter Christy's little stepsister, Karen. Karen Brewer lives next door to Mrs. Porter, who wears long black robes and has wild gray hair. Mrs. Porter has a black cat named Midnight and always seems to be working in her garden. Karen isn't supposed to spy on her neighbor, but she's determined to prove that Mrs. Porter is a witch named Morbida Destiny. Mrs. Porter is getting ready to have a special meeting at her house, and Karen is sure the meeting is for witches. Are they going to cast a spell on Karen, or will she be brave enough to send them away once and for all? Our next series is the Sunny series, written by Jennifer Holm, illustrated by Matthew Holm, good for grades 4 to 7. This series features Book 1, Sunny Side Up, Book 2, Swing It Sunny, and Book 3, Sunny Rolls the Dice. From the groundbreaking and award-winning sister-brother team behind Baby Mouse comes a middle-grade graphic novel memoir. Following the lives of kids whose older brother's delinquent behavior has thrown their family into chaos, Sunny Side Up is at once a compelling problem story and a love letter to the comic books that help the protagonist make sense of her world. Our next series is the Click series, written and illustrated by Kayla Miller for grades 3 to 6, featuring Book 1 Click, Book 2 Camp, and Book 3 Act. Olive clicks with everyone in the 5th grade until one day she doesn't. When a school variety show leaves Olive stranded without an act to join, she begins to panic, wondering why all her friends have already formed their own groups without her. With the performance drawing closer by the minute, will Olive be able to find her own place in the show before the curtain comes up? Next up, we have the Eagle Rock series, written and illustrated by Hope Larson for grades 5 to 8, featuring Book 1, All Summer Long, Book 2, All Together Now, and coming soon, All My Friends, Book 3. 13-year-old Bina has a long summer ahead of her. She and her best friend Austin usually do everything together, but he's off to summer camp for a month, and he's been acting kind of weird lately anyway. So it's up to Bina to see how much fun she can have on her own. At first, it's a lot of guitar playing, boredom, and bad TV, but things look up when she finds an unlikely companion in Austin's older sister, who enjoys music just as much as Bina. But then Austin comes home from camp, and he's acting even weirder than when he left. How Bina and Austin rise above their growing pains and reestablish their friendship and respect for their differences makes for a touching and funny coming-of-age story. Our last series is written and illustrated by Jerry Kraft, featuring Book 1 New Kid and Book 2 Class Act for grades 4 to 7. In New Kid, 7th grader Jordan Banks loves nothing more than drawing cartoons about his life. But instead of sending him to the art school of his dreams, his parents enroll him in a prestigious private school known for its academics, where Jordan is one of the few kids of color in his entire grade. As he makes the daily trip from his Washington Heights apartment to the upscale Riverdale Academy Day School, Jordan soon finds himself torn between two worlds and not really fitting in either one. Can Jordan learn to navigate his new school culture while keeping his neighborhood friends and staying true to himself? That's all for the series books. We'll now look at some standalone graphic novels. First up is Deafo, written and illustrated by C.C. Bell for grades 2 to 6. Starting a new school is scary, even more so with a giant hearing aid strapped to your chest. At her old school, everyone in Cece's class was deaf. Here, she is different. She is sure the kids are staring at the phonic ear, the powerful aid that will help her hear her teacher. Too bad it also seems certain to repel potential friends. Then Cece makes a startling discovery. With the phonic ear, she can hear her teacher not just in the classroom, but anywhere her teacher is in the school. In the hallway, in the teacher's lounge, in the bathroom. This is power, maybe even superpower. Cece is on her way to becoming El Deafo, listener for all. But the funny thing about being a superhero is that it's just another way of feeling different and lonely. Can Cece channel her powers into finding the thing she wants most, a true friend? Next, we have Twins, written by Varian Johnson, illustrated by Shannon Wright, for grades 3 to 7. Maureen and Francine Carter are twins and best friends. They participate in the same clubs, enjoy the same foods, and are partners on all their school projects. But just before the girls start 6th grade, Francine becomes Fran, a girl who wants to join the chorus, run for class president, and dress in fashionable outfits that set her apart from Maureen. A girl who seems happy to share only 2 classes with her sister. Maureen and Francine are growing apart, and there's nothing Maureen can do about it. Are sisters really forever, or will middle school change things for good? Stargazing, written and illustrated by Jennifer Wong for grades 4 to 8. Moon is everything Christine isn't. She's confident, impulsive, artistic, and though they both grew up in the same Chinese-American suburb, Moon is somehow unlike anyone Christine has ever known. But after Moon moves in next door, these unlikely friends are soon best friends, sharing their favorite music videos and painting their toenails when Christine's strict parents aren't around. Moon even tells Christine her deepest secret, that she has visions, sometimes of celestial beings who speak to her from the stars, who reassure her that Earth isn't where she really belongs. Moon's visions have an all-too-earthly root, however, and soon Christine's best friend is in the hospital fighting for her life. Can Christine be the friend Moon needs now when the sky is falling? Next up, we have Stepping Stones, written and illustrated by Lucy Knisley for grades 4 to 7. Jen did not want to leave the city. She did not want to move to a farm with her mom and her mom's new boyfriend, Walter. She did not want to leave her friends and her dad. Most of all, Jen did not want to get new sisters, Andy and Reese. As if learning new chores on Peapod Farm wasn't hard enough, having to deal with perfect at everything Andy might be the last straw for Jen. Besides cleaning the chicken coop, trying to keep up with the customers at the local farmer's market, and missing her old life, Jen has to deal with her own insecurities about this new family and where she fits in. New York Times bestseller author Lucy Knisley brings to life a story inspired from her own childhood in an amazing journey of unlikely friends, sisters, and home. Next, one of my new favorites, Shirley and Jamila Save Their Summer, written and illustrated by Jillian Gertz for grades 3 to 7. Jamila Waheed is staring down a lonely summer in a new neighborhood until she meets Shirley Bones. Sure, Shirley's a little strange, but both girls need a new plan for this summer, and they might as well become friends. Then this kid Oliver shows up begging for Shirley's help. His pet gecko has disappeared, and he's sure it was stolen. That's when Jamila discovers Shirley's secret. She's the neighborhood's best kid detective, and she's on the case. When Jamila discovers she's got some detective skills of her own, a crime-solving partnership is born. The mystery of the missing gecko turns Shirley and Jamila's summer upside down, and when their partnership hits a rough patch, they have to work together to solve the greatest mystery of all, what it means to be a friend. Another of my new favorites, The OK Witch, written and illustrated by Emma Steinkellner for grades 4 to 8. 13-year-old Moth Hush loves all things witchy, but she's about to discover that witches aren't just the stuff of movies, books, and spooky stories. When some 8th grade bullies try to ruin her Halloween, something really strange happens. It turns out that Founder's Bluff, Massachusetts has a centuries-old history of witch drama. And surprise, Moth's family is at the center of it all. When Moth's new powers show up, things get totally out of control. She meets a talking cat, falls into an enchanted diary, and unlocks a hidden witch world. Secrets surface from generations past as Moth unravels the complicated legacy at the heart of her town, her family, and herself. And finally, Roller Girl, one of my favorites. Okay, they're all my favorites. Written and illustrated by Victoria Jamieson for grades 4 to 8. For most of her 12 years, Astrid has done everything with her best friend Nicole. But after Astrid falls in love with roller derby and signs up for derby camp, Nicole decides to go to dance camp instead. And so begins the most difficult summer of Astrid's life as she struggles to keep up with the older girls at camp, hang on to the friends she feels slipping away, and cautiously embark on a new friendship. As the end of summer nears and her first roller derby bout in junior high draws closer, Astrid realizes that maybe she is strong enough to handle the bout, a lost friendship, and middle school. In short, strong enough to be Roller Girl.